So a couple of weeks ago I made a video top 10 best classes in the game, but with a twist I also included how hard they were to get and used that to calculate where I should put them in the ranks. But after a lot of requests I decided this week I was going to do one with just the top 10 best in the game, regardless of how hard they are to get. However, I will not be including member only classes, rare classes or chrono classes, just because chrono classes I feel like deserve a list to itself, and I've already done a bunch of tier lists on them and might do another one in the future when the chrono support class comes out in the hero mart map. Anyways, let's move into the 10th class on the list, Shaman. Shaman is probably one of the most underrated farming classes right now, or just classes as a whole. Give this thing a weapon with mana vamp and suddenly it's just insane at farming, with great cooldowns, great damage and just great sustainability. As well as being able to farm really well, it can actually also do a decent job at soloing and has pretty good solo DPS. There are better farming classes coming up in the list, but if you don't have them, I'd recommend getting this one as soon as you can. The next class on the list is Lord of Order. Lord of Order made it onto this list because it's pretty much a needed class in every single ultra boss. It's not completely compulsory, but it's super useful and just the best support class out there right now. Although it may not have great farming and soloing like most classes on this list, its support is good enough just to make it onto this list, and you're going to need one of these in pretty much any ultra boss fight. And the way the game's going, it seems they're becoming more and more common than ever. The next class on the list is Arch Paladin. Now Arch Paladin made it onto this list just because it is almost compulsory for any ultra boss fight. It's not actually compulsory, but if you don't have it, you're just ruining your chances by a lot. Due to a change made to the class not that long ago, you can actually use your 5 skill now, and it's okay, you won't even ruin your team's buffs and so on like it used to. You can provide pretty decent damage even without a group and with a group. And with the prevalence of ultra bosses in the game, I pretty much had to add this class and Lord of Order to this list. The next class on the list is Yami no Ronin. Now this class gets to make it on the list just because of its really good soloing damage and also survivability. It can reach up to 100% dodge, allowing it to solo monsters like Nulgath and more. Now occasionally you can use it to farm only in specific areas like Slash-Jaw and Fosha, and that's useful for when you're farming Legion tokens. But most of the time it's pretty much just a soloing class and provides very little support, as its main focus is soloing. Definitely worth getting if you don't have a really good soloing class already. The next class on the list is Lightcaster. Now it was a really close one between this and Yami no Ronin, but I ended up putting this over Yami no Ronin just because it's usable in more situations, it's capable of farming, it's better group support, and in longer fights it can have some insane DPS. Now this is a fantastic class for almost any situation as it's such a good all-rounder, but its main strength comes in soloing and it does a really good job at it. And although its sustainability isn't as good as Yami no Ronin or perhaps some other classes, its damage is really good. I can also provide pretty good support in a group, not enough to be able to use in ultra battles, but enough to pretty much use in any other battle and give your teammates a really good buff. Number 5 on the list is Archfiend. Now this class was definitely going to be on the list. It is one of the best farming classes in the game, and situationally in some circumstances it can even be better than Legion Revenant. Now of course Legion Revenant is better than Archfiend, but the difference is not that big, and if you don't have the class already or you don't have Legion Revenant already, I highly recommend you get this class. Next class on the list is Dragon of Time. Dragon of Time is a really good all-rounder class, great at soloing, farming, and all round a good class. Although it can't solo like VHL or farm like LR, it can still do both jobs really well. It's probably the best all-rounder class on this list except for the one coming at number 1. The next class is Chaos Avenger. Chaos Avenger is a super tanky class whilst also having super high damage, and also it's really good in groups and can improve the DPS of your group massively. It is super commonly used in ultra bosses, and rightly so, as it can provide high damage whilst also having good support and being tanky enough to not die. Overall, amazing DPS, amazing sustainability, and super useful in general. A must get class if you're looking to get more endgame items. And the second class on the list is Void High Lord. Now, I was considering putting this in first place, and to be honest, whether this is first or the one after is debatable and you can make up your own mind, but this class is easily the best soloing class in the game. Its DPS speaks for itself, but has amazing damage from the start towards the end. As well as having insane DPS, it has really good survivability and really good heal over times. In fact, its DPS is so good you could literally use it to farm even a single target class, and can outshine most farming classes except for maybe the S tier ones. It's also surprisingly easy to use and doesn't require you to remember complicated combos. And the number 1 class on this list is Legion Revenant. Legion Revenant is easily the best farming class in the game, and 90% of this game is farming, so once you've got this, the rest of the game should be pretty much a breeze. It is also the best all-rounder class. You can solo, support, go against ultra bosses, PvP, literally do anything. There's one class you could choose for the entire game and only one class. That class should be Legion Revenant. This class is ridiculously good, and there's just not much I can say about it other than that. Like farming, nothing else can beat it. Support, it's really good. Soloing, amazing. Everything just really good. It used to be extremely difficult to get, but now with the Ultra Boss stage, it is easy to get, and I'd highly recommend getting it. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought and what class you'd put in this list. Like the video and subscribe, and see you next time.